I'm back. I'm going to try it again. Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church here for our first try, actually, doing a broadcast live through YouTube. I apologize for the technical issues, but without any further ado, let me jump right in, okay? Hope you all can hear and see us out there clearly. All praises be to the Most High. Ahaya, Ashah, Ahaya. We're here. They say the sound is great. Obviously, we're finally in a good place with this particular setup. Okay, I know you hear me live through Blog Talk, same time. Let's jump right into it, okay? Israelites can no longer be ignored, especially those who are in Christ, whom this world called Jesus. The Christian gatekeepers are shaking. They're shaking in their boots. And I'm going to talk about it in a second. Elder Lawya, are you with me? Brother? Oh, that's wonderful. All praises be to the Most High. And thanks, AC. Thank you, brother, for doing what you do in the background. I know we're trying to still work out kinks, but hopefully what we have here will be exactly how we start going forward. Israelites can no longer be ignored. Christians are good people. Now, mind you, like I've mentioned many times before, myself, Elder Rawchaa, came out of a Christian church. I was raised 3 generations of pastors within my family, on my mother and father's side. So I have nothing against Christians. Let me make that clear. Christians are good people. They're not, but they're not being told the truth. Okay? They're not getting full insight to what's going on in the earth according to the Bible. And mainly black people, people of color, even those that are suffering throughout the earth, the poor people, are not being told why the suffering is so according to the Bible. Therefore, it leave people in disarray, confusion concerning the loving God, and by default, these Christians become atheists, or they may become, they may leave and go into some pro-black thing and all that. And let me make this clear. Being an Israelite is not a pro-black or color thing. And I'm going to clear that up in a minute. I'm going to clear that up. But guess what? Israelites can no longer be ignored. Obviously. If you ask the likes of the T.D. Jakes, along with Christian so-called apologists, right? If anything, right now these so-called apologists should apologize for their behavior, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. I'm going to go over that in a moment and show you some. I'm embarrassed for what some of these apologetics are doing right now. But the so-called apologetics, along with T.D. Jakes and other pastors out there, who we all know they're being, one moment. Yes.
Sorry, Elder. Go into Skype, settings, speaker output, and make sure it says multi-output. And I may have just left it at built-in output by mistake, thinking output and multi-output was almost similar. All you got to do is switch to Skype to multi-output.
So I'm in Skype. It says audio, sound. It's okay.
The speaker should be multi-output, not built-in output, multi-output.
Okay, the audio gives me microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I apologize, and I missed it, and I saw output, and I thought it was multi-output, but it was just built-in output.
Don't worry about it. We're fine. Everyone can hear us fine. Let me go. I got a broadcast to deal with. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate you. Shalom. Okay, here we go. Israelites. That's my tech guy in the back trying to direct things and help me with this. Israelites can no longer be ignored. T.D. Jakes, along with Christian so-called apologists, who we all know are these people are Zionist controlled. There's no doubt about it. There's no secret anymore that these Christian pastors are controlled by Jewish money and they are afraid of the Jewish power and influence it has over Western Christendom. Okay, we're going to go into that in subsequent shows to come. T.D. Jakes and all these others who we all know are controlled by the Zionists. I'm not going to say Jews because a lot of Jews don't even have no idea what's going on themselves. They're trying to make it just like everyone else. Are now making a last-ditch effort to hold on to what's left of their Christian-controlled population or congregation. Why, you might ask? You got it. Israelites. Israelites. Only the Israelites, regardless of the doctrine that's out there, there's various doctrines, including what we teach. We teach the Apostles' doctrine. But only Israelites, regardless of doctrine, are able to give a resolve to the long unanswered question. Who are the Israelites according to the Bible? Now, instead of Christian pastors such as T.D. Jakes and others coming clean and finally admitting the truth, they could. It's not as if they don't have access to the same videos the Awakening have access to. Instead of these pastors coming clean, they're now being sent to actually speak to their congregations. They're being sent to talk about Israelites in hopes of avoiding the constant hemorrhaging of their members. The church is hemorrhaging. Now, we've been warning pastors, brothers and sisters, for years that if they continue upholding Satan's paganism, that the Most High God would smite the churches, causing brothers and sisters to leave in droves. What do you think? I think that time is here. Christians are being lost to atheists. They're being lost to the pro-black conscious community, which is totally unconscious. They can't even get together. Rapists, all types of crap, child molestation, all types of foolishness is going on, and has always gone on. Shucksters, just straight scammers. The majority of those children that converted into that conscious mess came from the Christian church, because the Christian church didn't start with the correct foundation of the Most High in Christ. They're leaving. Instead of the Christian churches like T.D. Jakes and others, instead of them focusing on the LBGT takeover of the churches, and the greedy pastors who actually steal from its congregation, you would think that would be their focus. The Christian authority feel addressing Israelites is more important. They'd rather address Israelites than clean up their own internal mess. Right? Let's now discuss the desperation in detail tonight, because they're desperate. What are they doing in light of this prophetic Israelite awakening? It's about to be shown. Wait till I show you the depths the Christian authority are stooping to. What are they doing in light of this prophetic Israelite awakening? And more importantly, what will they do next? Thank you for joining us for our first installment through YouTube our weekly broadcast. Thank you for joining our weekly broadcast on Blog Talk, the first one through YouTube. And guess what? It's titled, Israelites Can No Longer Be Ignored. The Christian Gatekeepers Are Shook. Now it's not like T.D. Jake doesn't know who the Israelites are. They definitely know who the Israelites are, beyond any shadow of a doubt. Okay? Beyond any shadow of a doubt. Let me pull up something real quick for you all here. I need y'all to check this out. Hold on. One moment here. I need you to see something. I want to share this with you all. I would like to share this with you all, brothers and sisters. Hold on. There it is. It's not as if T.D. Jakes and others don't know what's really going on. Okay? They know exactly what's going on. Check this out. I'm going to give you some insight on what's happening right now with your pastors, your T.D. Jakes. I need you to listen to this. T.D. Jakes, the T.D. Jakes out there and others are claiming they have no idea who the Israelites are. On top of that, sending all types of money and what have you over to Israel in support of the so-called quote-unquote Jews, not telling the majority that's predominantly within their congregations, which are the poor black people supporting black Christendom, not telling these people that they are the actual children of God, children of Israel suffering the curses within America right now. As if they don't know who are the Israelites. Do T.D. Jakes know who are the Israelites? Should he be teaching this? Listen to what he say, what he talks about in private, outside of his congregation, amongst the elite. Listen.
Speaking about the Paul is grappling with today, all deference, narcissistics, in
Listen
this
here.
narcissistic, self-consumed society in which we live today, all deference has moved away from a deeper understanding of the global panoramic plan of God for humanity.
For humanity. He's shaking now. Listen.
In on what's in it for me. This is not one of those selfish, self-consumed messages, not from this text, not at this time. Paul is grappling in his own mind, trying to understand, or rather trying to help us to understand that God has a plan for a people who, for the most part, have rejected him.
Now, hold up now. Now, mind you, brothers and sisters, he has a plan for those who have rejected him. Now, mind you, T.D. Jakes, an entertainer, mind you, that's what he really is, didn't pull one precept or scripture, but we will as Israelites tonight. But listen to what he talks about in the absence of his church.
Let me tell you, this chair is about to break. My father's sitting here and my mother is sitting here, and they're fighting for the mic from moment to moment. My grandmother talks to you every now and then. All of my ancestors are sitting on this table all the way back to Nigeria.
He's talking to the Jews right now. Listen, folks.
My ancestors were Igbos from Nigeria, and Igbos are called black Jews, that they're industrious, that they...
Hold up now. What did he say?
My ancestors were Igbos from Nigeria, and Igbos are called black Jews, that they're...
Hold up. They're called what? Brothers and sisters? They're called what? Did T.D. Jakes just admit to the Jewish faction who's controlling Christendom that he know the blacks are the Jews that the Bible speaks of? They're shaking in their boots. And I'm saying this, brothers and sisters. Why? For years, Christians and Christian pastors, when I began to understand, according to the Bible, that we are the real Jews, they've ignored this particular topic and dismissed it for decades, and knew the whole time about the Igbo tribes of Hebrews, the indigenous Hebrews that are still in Africa, but yet never taught that within their churches in America. They're shaking in their boots. Israelites can no longer be ignored. Right? It's to a point now, brothers and sisters, they're now prepping the few that's left within the Christian congregation, the sheep, more so. They're conditioning them on how to deal with Israelites, knowing that they cannot really discuss the Israelite topic publicly, okay, with an Israelite involved. If an Israelite is involved in the discussion, they'd rather try to shape the conversation into a black and white thing, knowing that most Christians will automatically side from a quote-unquote love perspective and perceive black and white as hatred. And through the hatred dialogue, side and stay asleep in Christendom. But we're going to discuss that a little later. I'll see you out there on YouTube. Exactly, Elder. Right? I love the way this thing is set up now. We have it now. The setup is good. I love how this is set up. Everything is in front of me. All praise be to the Most High. Yeah, you know what? Brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you right now, they are shaking in their boots. And I'm going to give you some examples in a moment. Right? You would think they would address the homosexual takeover within the church. This same T.D. Jakes a couple of years ago excused the sin of homosexuality, knowing that his son is a public and outed homosexual. You would think they would address that within the Christian churches. The homosexuals, the so-called gays and lesbians who are controlling and are over the administrations of all their churches. Who in fact are their choir directors, over daycare centers. But there's obviously a meeting happened somewhere. A meeting had to have happened. They're now, I'm going to tell you, they're paranoid, these so-called pastors, with these Israelite awakening. And I'm going to show you why according to the Bible. Elder Lawya. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me pull up Elder Lawya with me real quick. Elder Lawya, I don't know if you've seen this. I'm going to pull up T.D. Jakes a little later. Okay? But have you seen the extra attention Christians are giving Israelites now?
Well, I have, and it's been evident for the past maybe 2, maybe 3 years. It's been going on, a lot of stirring and shaking, a lot of controversy, and you know that there are backdoor discussions taking place concerning the Israelite awakening. Initially, as we always say, because the media was set up in a certain way where the quote-unquote the voiceless couldn't really get out there unless they had television access.
Exactly.
Because the media has shifted, it's allowed the everyday person to pretty much get on YouTube and present their voice, present their point of view. And what it's done is it's really cast out the TBNs and all of these big networks, these religious networks that you originally had to get on, so that now the truth can be presented throughout the four corners of the earth. And now it's, of course, presenting issues. So for the past few years, we've been seeing these attempts, first by the so-called apologists. Now we're seeing the big mega church pastors taking up this fight. And hey, to be honest with you, I don't blame them.
Hey,
because they're losing their stronghold.
hey, and Lawya, to your point, right? For a long time, Zionism or the Zionist had control of content or the minds of the people before YouTube. See, exactly. They didn't need to address it on what you would call on a media level. Okay, and unfortunately for how this thing began to some degree, it was enough seeing the hate and the negativity that was being portrayed with the awakening. That was enough initially for Christian pastors to point to the demeanor and the vulgarity that came from how some Israelites relayed the word. They didn't need to speak on a doctrine level to actually dissuade their members from coming into an Israelite doctrine. Because why? The majority of Christians, they do, to some degree, they understand the spirit of right and wrong. And one thing about Christians, which are good, they are spiritually driven. You can't, and they're usually taught from a gentle standpoint or platform. So if you come abrasive, automatically they translate that aggressiveness or that strong demeanor as hateful, wicked, evil, because you're not being gentle and respectful as Christ, right? Now, I want to show something real quick, Elder Lawya. Real quick, if you don't mind. Brothers and sisters, for you just coming on YouTube, let me give you the title. Israelites can no longer be ignored. The Christian gatekeepers are shaking in their boots. They've pulled out the TD Jakes and others to finally begin to address Israelites. Now that regular Israelites have went on YouTube and gained some level of notoriety, and the majority of people have turned Christian pastors off, folks. They've turned Christian pastors off. You Christian pastors have had so much time, brothers. I'm going to tell you right now, if any pastors are looking, you had time to speak truth to power. You had time with your trusted congregation to let them know. For years, we've gone with tradition, but prophecy tells us that a watchman must sound the trumpet. Okay? That regardless of what we used to do, the Lord is requiring, the Most High God is requiring a new way for Christians. You had the power, you had the people, but didn't listen. If you're listening now, check this out. Because TD Jakes' efforts will fall on deaf ears. They're falling on deaf ears. I'm going to go into it in a moment. But before I do that, let's set this up real quick, Elder Lawya. You have your Bible with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need you to go to Isaiah 49:6. I've just shown TD Jakes admitting that his family, he knew that his family come from a long line of Ebos or Hebrews. But here's the hypocrisy of this particular guy. You find TD Jakes, and it's obvious, you know, the brother eats wine and everything else, right? Unclean. One moment. One moment. it's obvious that this particular guy, brothers and sisters, T.D. Jakes, is dealing with some level of hypocrisy. There's other videos that can be found in which he claimed that blacks are, and he is a Gentile. So which one is it, T.D. Jakes? Are we the Ebos, the descendants of the real Hebrews? For Christians who might be watching this, Ebo is another form or another way one say Hebrew. Okay? Igbos are Hebrews in Africa. Okay? We have T.D. Jakes now admitting that he knows that our people are from Ebo, Hebrews. But yet, there's other videos out there claiming that we're Gentiles. Which is it? I'm going to show you why they're dealing with him in particular. I'm going to show you why he deal with such hypocrisy this evening. Shalom on my YouTube brothers and sisters. I see you. Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
Let's get Isaiah 13:1. Go to Isaiah 13:1. Isaiah 49:6.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1.
Come on.
The burden of Babylon.
The burden of Babylon. Come on.
Which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
So they shall what?
Go into the gates of the nobles.
Go into the gates of the nobles. So the Bible tells us prophetically that the Israelites at the end would begin to set a standard outside of the norm. Will shake the hand and tell the truth in front of the people. Will do the legwork pastors refuse to do for years. Like Jezreel's, they sat back, got fat, and kicked back. While Israelites everywhere suffered in the earth. While Christians suffered in the earth. They didn't go into the highways and byways. They stayed in corners, collecting a check. So the Most High is saying what? Once a standard is set, the people will begin to run back to their pastors like T.D. Jakes, the gates of the nobles, and begin to ask questions. At that point, questions will arise that the theologian school haven't prepared them for, didn't prepare them for. Brothers and sisters, they ran into the gates of the nobles. That's what, who's doing that now? Church members. They're going to their pastors. Is there any truth to us being Hebrews or Israelites? Is the question. And their answer, usually, the pastor's answer usually is, it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? That answer doesn't work anymore. Because whether or not it matters, I didn't ask you whether it mattered. I asked you, was it true? Is it true? See? You can no longer answer my question dismissively. Because there's some brothers out there that are willing to tell me the truth concerning my ancestry. Prophetically. Go on, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 13, verse number 2.
Come on.
Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain.
Yes.
Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Come on.
Verse 3. I have commanded my sanctified ones.
I have commanded my sanctified ones. So there's teachers the Most High have sanctified to bring forth the truth. Read.
I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger.
Come on.
even them that rejoice in my highness.
Now, hold that, Elder Lawya, and get Jeremiah 23. Christian authority, brothers and sisters, are shaking in their boots. Israelites right now can no longer be ignored. The question is, what will they do next? Now, Israelites can no longer be ignored. What will be their next steps? Hey, brothers and sisters, prepare yourself. They're looking to engage Israelites, instigate with Israelites, engage Israelites personally on every level. They first sent out what? Their gatekeepers. That's the first step. And next, it's the gatekeepers bringing forth resolve that leads to the government and others engaging Israelites. How do we know the pattern? It happened during the time of Christ. There's a pattern here. When the Sanhedrin can no longer ignore Christ and can no longer convince the people against him, it left them only one. It left one alternative. And it's what the Bible calls Jacob trouble. I'm going to tell you, these so-called guys like T.D. Jakes and others are serious vipers, folks. They're liars, talking on both sides of their mouth. Yes, I'm Igbo, but yet we're Gentiles and the white Jews are the real Jews. They speak all this confusion without resolving one complete point. And they're not the only one shaking. Yeah. The money changers that are controlling the pastors are shaking also. Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
Get me Jeremiah 23 and 20.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 20.
And make sure after that you grab Amos, the book of Amos, 5 and 11. 8 and 11. Yeah, Amos 8 and 11. Right?
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 20.
Come on.
The anger of the Most High shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly.
You're at Jeremiah 23 and 20, right?
Yes, sir.
In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. Now in Jeremiah 23, brothers and sisters, the Most High specifically is speaking to the pastors who lead the sheep astray against his word. Listen, go on.
Verse number 21. I have not sent these prophets.
He says, I have not sent these prophets, these teachers, these so-called T.D. Jakes and Creative Flow of Dollars. The Most High never sent them. If they were sent, they would have told you the truth. They would have revealed the reason we're suffering by the hands of the authority. They would have told black people, Hispanic people, people all over there. They would have even told white people. Okay? They would have told white people, you're right now living in a Roman rule that will soon discontinue. The poor people are the true Jews the Bible speaks of. And it's time you begin to treat them as such. They would have told the truth concerning the poor people. They ran, read. Come on.
I have not sent these prophets.
I have not sent them, yet they ran. Who sent them if the Most High didn't, folks? Who sent them? Come on.
I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied.
He says, I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. Speaking of your pastors, when you get an opportunity, read the whole Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, please. You'll find it speaking of these modern day pastors like T.D. Jakes. Let's go to Amos, Elder Lawya.
The book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God. Read.
That I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread.
Not a famine of bread.
Nor a thirst for water.
Nor a thirst of water. Read.
But of hearing the words of the Lord.
But of hearing the words of the Lord. Why aren't the people hearing the words of the Lord? Pastors and so-called preachers are in the way. We're living in that day of famine. Okay? You rarely hear the pastors read and teach prophecies according to the Most High, according to the Bible. Okay? What are they using the Bible for? If not at all. You have T.D. Jakes spewing his opinions, lying to the people, and now looking to engage Israelites. But I'm going to show you where that'll go very, very soon, according to the word. Hold that, Elder Lawya, and get Ezekiel 30. Get Ezekiel 33:1. So there is a famine of hearing the word of God, and our people, poor people, are hungry. All right. The people who believe in Christ and the Bible are hungry and can no longer be fed with the traditions and lies being taught in everyday Christian institutions. So now they're being sent, rallying the troops all over. Guess what? Every Christian pastor received an Israelite memo, folks. The next generation, you think it's bad now. The next generation, will be totally out of the churches. You think they don't see their numbers dwindling? And at one time, at least they had the sisters, brothers and sisters. Hey, there's a lot of sisters realizing now that they are the daughters of Zion. That even if the world don't love and accept them, the Most High does. That they are way greater than what this world has been portrayed against it. A lot of sisters who are in the Christian churches are coming out realizing that they are under the curses of the daughters of Zion written of in the Old Testament and are looking for ways to break that curse. Same as brothers. What am I doing wrong? Why am I always going backwards? Why is it other people held above me? Why is other nations and other people are the portrayal of beauty and righteousness above us? Christians can't answer that question. Israelites can. You with me, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
Read it. Read Ezekiel 33:1. Let's read it. Come on.
Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man,
come on.
Speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land.
When I bring the sword upon the land. Come on.
And if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman.
Hold on. Read that part again, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring a sword upon a land.
When I bring a sword upon the land. A sword is destruction. Can you all feel it in the air, brothers and sisters, that something will soon happen in America? That things will change for the worse? Do you feel war is coming here? Have you been traveling lately to witness the ramping up insecurity? A trumpet is being sounded. Read it again, Elder Lawya.
Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them.
Speak to the children of thy people. Now, how can you speak to the children of thy people if you're not letting the poor know that they're Israelites, right? Read.
When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman.
That's your preacher and pastor. Their position, according to the word, is to be what? A watchman.
A watchman.
A watchman, folks. They're not supposed to be teaching in church prosperity and the blessings of Abraham and all this other crap. They're teaching incorrectly, not rightly dividing the word of truth. If anything, they should be preparing brothers and sisters for the coming of Christ by doing what? Setting up a standard and giving the law back to the people of law, the children of Israel. A watchman is supposed to be standing at the watchtower watching for the enemy, knowing the enemy is looking to destroy the whole city. A watchman is at that top tower, brothers and sisters, looking out, looking for the enemy so that they can sound and prepare the people before it's too late. Right? Listen here. Go ahead, Elder Lawya. Come on.
Verse 3.
Yes.
If when he seeth the sword come upon the land.
So he see the sword coming. You think the pastors don't know these prophecies? They see destruction and war is about to hit America. Go on.
He blow the trumpet and warn the people.
He blow the trumpet and warn the people. See? Are they doing that within the churches right now, folks? Are they warning you from what the Most High God is about to do according to prophecy with this war that's culminating, that's brewing with Iran, Israel, and America? Go on.
Verse 4. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Come on. That means his blood shall be upon his own head. That means if the Most High, according to a prophecy or whatever the prophecy might be, gives it to the watchman and the watchman tell the people the truth. Now, if the people decide, well, listen, I don't care what that pastor say. I'm just going to do me. Well, guess what? When the sword comes, that blood is not on that watchman. Because why? That watchman did his job according to the Most High God. But what happens if the pastors and preachers, the watchmen, see the destruction coming, but refuse to warn their congregations or prepare their congregations? Read.
Verse 5.
Come on.
He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him.
His blood shall be upon him. Read.
But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. The pastors are not warning their congregations. They're coddling their congregations. They're lying to their congregations for the sake of finances. They're compromising with their congregations. I mean, how many pastors I've heard say, well, listen, I know the truth, but right now my congregation wouldn't be able to deal with it all at once. Who are you to shield the truth of God from your congregation and decide whether or not they're ready? You are a watchman. You're supposed to let them know about the God. you love, you trust, you believe in. You're not supposed to withhold information that can save their souls because some may disagree. For those that disagree, the blood will be upon them anyway. Their blood is going to be on them. Why? Because you gave them the warning and they didn't listen. So what you're doing, you're penalizing those that want the truth to coddle those who would refuse it. That's evil. I'm going to tell you right now, Elder Rawchaa, this thing blew me away when a video was sent to me showing T.D. Jakes saying he knows that he's Hebrew. and now that I'm now after viewing him saying that in light of other videos, I realize now that that's actually a tactful, okay? That's a calculated admission. Because now he can take the stance as a black Hebrew to say that I'm a Hebrew, but this, but that. When he's on the record telling everyone everywhere that he's an African Gentile. But right now they say, well, listen, we need a black Hebrew somewhere, someone that say they T.D. Jakes. So now he's admitting he's Hebrew or Hebrew, but with what? A rabbi, or what you would call a Jewish theology behind it. So look for that next with this guy. Come on, Elder Lawyer.
Ezekiel 33, verse 6.
Yes.
But if the watchmen see the sword come.
If the watchmen see the sword come and what?
And blow not the trumpet.
And blow not the trumpet. Come on.
And the people be not warned. If the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
But his blood will be required at the watchman's hand. Every pastor, any pastor anywhere should come before their congregation and say, well, listen, I didn't lie to you. I was taught lies. I only taught you the information relayed to me. So it wasn't a purpose deception. This is how you segue into the truth. Okay. Tell your congregations, brothers and sisters, you pastors. Okay. It was unfair for me. It was unfair for me to say that we're under the new covenant only without presenting you the old covenant. It was unfair to you to say that the law was our schoolmaster that could bring us to Christ without giving you insight on the schoolmaster. Okay? You have to be truthful now and say, well, listen, we found there is importance concerning the Sabbath, and that the deception I've learned through theologian schools is that Sunday is the Sabbath. No, that's the Western world's Roman satanic Sabbath, not God's. When Christ was healing on the Sabbath, it was on so-called Friday to so-called Saturday. And because of that, I'm going to bring us back to the schoolmaster so that we'll understand Christ clearly. It's time to follow the law, folks. It's time to bring some law up in these churches. We're not going to judge anyone. We understand you came as you are, but you didn't come to stay as you are. We will now measure our sins with the law of God to see where we as a church and as individuals see where we're falling short. But it's unfair for me to tell you the law is done away with, knowing that you will be judged by it. Okay? When it comes to foods, on the lowest level, anything unclean, we're going to know what it is to be a clean people. Anything the Bible said is unclean, we're not going to make an excuse anymore concerning it. All clean food. A clean people and a holy people refuses anything dirty or unclean. We're going to walk as a holy people. And let me put this out there too. By the way, there's historical facts. There's history and archaeology out there proving that the blacks and others that are suffering by the hands of the Romans all over the earth are in fact the children of Israel. Let me ask you out there, brothers and sisters. I see you out there. Let me ask you. Do you think pastors out there have enough courage to make such statements before their congregation? Do they fear the Zionist powers more than the God who made them? They say no, 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 Lawya, no. Where's the pastor with courage is the question. Elder Lawya, go to Isaiah 49:6 for me. In case pastors don't know where to start. Let's give them a starting point. Right? You with me, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
Isaiah 49:6. You pastors out there who are listening. You're going to be required by the Most High God. You are required to teach the truth, regardless of how you feel about Israelites. What you should have done was viewed the Israelites out there on the corner as assigned by God, regardless of the variances or difference in doctrine. Is there something they're saying concerning our people? Is there anything they're saying out there that's true according to the word of God? And if so, should we teach it? So in case pastors out there viewing this video need a starting point, because like I've mentioned earlier, folks, I grew up a Christian. I know what it is to put on an Easter suit from a baby. I know what it is to go to Easter Sunday services. I know what it is for Christmas services. And guess what? I know what it is to go to revivals and have prayer during the week, Bible classes during the week. Okay? I was raised in the church. So this is not someone judging Christians. Let's make that clear. This is sounding a trumpet. The pastors and preachers, like I've mentioned here, are shaking in their boots. And guess what? They are now addressing Israelites. Why? Because Israelites can no longer be ignored. Israelites, regardless of doctrine, have a serious truth our people been waiting for generations. Let me put that out there. Elder Lawya, 49:6, in case pastors, preachers would like to understand where to start. Let's go.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6.
Come on.
And he said, "It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant."
It is a light thing. It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant. So the Lord is saying, listen, this is the light thing. This is the least you can do. It is a light thing that you should be my servant. Go on.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob. That's your responsibility, pastors. Not to get on the pulpit and tell people everywhere that God did away with his people. Okay? As if God can have mercy on Gentiles but reject his own people. That's foolishness. Claiming that he came into his own and his own received them not, but the as many as everyone else has received him, gave he power to become sons of the living God. Replacement theology is sinful, satanic, and guess what? Paul called that out as what? Boasting against the natural branches. They're not rightly dividing that John, the 1st chapter. Because when it says he came into his own received them not. When you look at that word own, no one else is included. The mission to the Gentiles didn't happen until after Christ was crucified and resurrected. So when he said he came into his own and his own received him not, but as many as received him, that was the many out of his own. These made the disciples, the 70, the 3,000 that were baptized in Acts, the 2nd chapter. Because why? All Jews did not reject Christ, and that's a lie they're teaching to cover for Zionists. They knew this day would come where black people everywhere would begin to ask a question. Who are we? And they already had that doctrine in place to dismiss the greatest awakening since our servitude. The greatest prophecy since our servitude began would be the prophecy of the awakening and the reviving for the true children of the Bible. A servant of this Bible is called to do what? Read it again, Elder Lawya.
It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant.
To be what is a servant of God? To do what?
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
To raise up the tribes of Jacob. See? To raise up the tribes of Jacob. And see, and that's why so many apologetics and all these other Christian deceivers, gatekeepers, have a problem with the 12 tribes chart. Because you can say, well, this is wrong and that is wrong. But you can't deny, at least those with the 12 tribes chart, at least they're trying to raise up the tribes of Jacob. At least they're talking about the 12 tribes. While you Christian pastors are ignoring it, saying it doesn't matter. When it's your job to be a servant and raise up the 12 tribes. Well, how can you possibly do that without knowing who they are? And obviously, T.D. Jakes know who they are and refuse to tell them. That's them straining at a gnat and swallowing a camel. Oh, well, that 12 tribe chart is evil. How can a chart be evil? When, if one cleave to that chart and realize they're the 12 tribes of Israel, they will begin to ask questions concerning the law and culture related to that tribe. And through that, put down sin. That's better than dismissing people saying, well, we don't know who anyone is on earth, and the only people that matter are God's chosen people, the Jewish people. They're obviously the Jewish people. Look at all they have. Look at how powerful they are. They gotta be God's people. Nowhere in the Bible did it say that God's people would be running things at the very end. The fourth beast is Rome. The Romans are Edomites, folks. The real children of Israel are in exile, and guess what? That's the pastor's responsibility to be a servant and raise those people in this time of the awakening. But we know you're quaking in your boots. They got T.D. Jakes out there. The Zionists got him out shucking and jiving. I'm going to show you in a moment. I know we started late, but it doesn't matter. I'm getting into the groove of this YouTube thing now, and if we have to do overtime, I'll do overtime here live on YouTube. So if you're on Blog Talk and we cut off, don't worry about it. come to YouTube, I'll continue to stream because there's a lot I have to show. And guess what? After this, I'm in a meeting with all my California brothers and sisters. I need you all, if you're from California and you're within the church, I need you to come on with us tonight. I have a few things to clear up for you all tonight after the broadcast. I'm going to spend time to do so. Okay? I want to clear a few things up with you all. So I want to make sure if you're from California, be on our conference call tonight after the broadcast. Israelites can no longer be ignored, right? That a servant of God would raise up the tribes of Jacob. Read. Come on, Elder Lawya.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
And to restore the preserved of Israel. Let me tell you, our people are no longer accepting your theologian answers. Like answers that they have like, the flesh profited nothing. Okay, we're Israelites in the spirit, not in the flesh, and all this. We're no longer receiving that. Tell us who the people are. Let us decide how to interpret that once we receive it, how to use the scriptures with that once it's known. You can't decide what's important for me. We're suffering all this hell in the earth and blaming God for it without understanding why we fell to such a low level on this earth, with no preacher giving a correct explanation to it. Okay, you mean to tell me the same people who was behind killing and destroying Christ are God's chosen people? The controllers of this earth, the money changers? Yes, T.D. Jakes and others have a lot of explaining to do. But see, they using T.D. Jakes. Why? Because T.D. Jakes is really a gatekeeper at the top of their black pyramid scheme. See, even though he groveled under Jewish shekels, he's revered as some authority amongst poor, ignorant blacks. Come on, let's go.
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles.
I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles. So here it is. A servant don't ignore the Gentiles. And that's another lie you're teaching out there, you pastors. That Israelites show hatred towards Gentiles. No. That's not true according to the doctrine. Now, you have individuals out there using their Israelite status incorrectly. But that's not, you can't blame that on the Bible. You can't say that's an Israelite thing where the Gentiles are ignored when you pastors out there know that Christ set up the disciples first. And through that doctrine, they became a light to the world. So there's a way in which we can teach the truth concerning God's people and still show the Gentiles their place according to the Most High, because we're that light. Okay? We're that light to the Gentiles, and you're not showing our people their purpose. And because of that, what's going on? The Most High is shaking your churches. You can't stop the atheists from gripping them. The college initiations and fraternities that they go into, in which they are ripped away and into this unbelief system. You can't stop that. You can't stop the demonic low-level conscious community. You can't stop Islam from pillaging off of you. Why? You refuse to set that standard and be a servant to raise the tribes of Jacob. You continue in deception. You know the people are hungry and there's a famine in the earth, and you as a pastor are refusing to feed them. Come on, Elder Rawchaa.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. Now, mind you, Christ says, this doctrine of the kingdom shall be taught throughout the whole earth, then the end shall come. Now, mind you, brothers and sisters, is there not a Christian church on every continent within the earth? Show me a place that's on the earth, inhabited, where a Christian church isn't present. It's not present. Obviously, that doctrine that must be taught throughout the earth for the end to come wouldn't come through these churches, because we're still here. Obviously, Christ was speaking of another doctrine. And that's what the Christians are fearful of. While they're making more unbelievers and atheists, that's what the Christian church is turning out now. While they're making more of those, Israelites are building a lawful foundation, a starting point for those who are waking up in the last days. And it's one thing they do understand, though, these pastors. The bottom line, they see their coffers drying up. And you know what? Good. Their coffers, their numbers are, the Zionists are looking at the numbers saying, listen, you ain't dancing hard enough. You ain't sweating hard enough. Get on out there and tell those black people whatever you need to tell them, but keep them up in this house of deception. Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
If you would like to expound on anything, I have you up on the screen. Talk. You can say what you would like. I'm sorry. Again, I apologize for the technical issues. I wish we had a full 3 hours to deal with this tonight, but I'll pick it up next week. But say what you have to say. We're going to go as long as we can go. And there's a few more takes I would like to show through TD Jakes. But guess what? I want you all to see who the Jewish apologists are sending out. And you know what? I'm embarrassed for this particular white Jew you're about to see in a moment. I'm embarrassed for him. That you know, this lets you know, boy, they are paranoid when they send out a Jewish Zionist to buck dance. I'll show you that in one moment. But come on, Elder Lawya, you have anything?
Not at this moment. At this point, I'm ready to hear some of the footage and take it from there.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's now go to TD Jakes. I know I see people calling them TD Snakes, but, you know, for the sake of this context for this show tonight, we're going to call him by his name, TD Jakes. Okay. Discuss his stance on Hebrew Israelites. And Elder Lawya, tell me if TD Jakes went into the wrong line of work here. Because I think he would have been quite more effective as a butcher. after viewing this clip. Listen, brothers and sisters, check it out.
When I'm doing this, I feel like I was doing what I was born to do. Thank you, Jesus. I feel like I'm doing what I was born to do. I want to make sure that a foundation, a solid biblical foundation, exists in the church from generation to generation. I am tired of these junk food babies starting churches off of potato chips.
Lawya, I'm glad I have your picture up right now because I know you. I know you're probably smiling from ear to ear, but let me narrate what you're missing here. You have TD Jakes sweating bullets, okay? Wet under the underarms and on the back. He's wet in all uncomely areas. He's being worked up in a cold sweat right now. Speaking about people setting up potato chip churches. All right? All right. Listen to this clearly. So this is what you're saying. Now, I'm not making fun of him. I'm narrating what's being shown on the screen here. There's sweat pockets all over the place right now. So he's getting worked up.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And drawing more people than you can feed. That's why you're being peeled off to all these other religions.
Oh, that's why you're being peeled off from all these other religions.
Because you don't know who you are. That's why people come in and tell you Christianity is the white man's religion, because you don't know who you are.
Now, hold up now. Israelites, I'm going to correct this purpose pork eater here. Let me correct him right here. Christianity is not a white man's religion. I don't care what those conscious people are talking about. It tells us in Acts the 13th chapter that the first Christians were Niger or black. The original Christians were black people. We saying that it was hijacked from black people after the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. That's what we say. Christian is not a white man's religion. Christ was a black man. So that's his first lie. Okay? Next. Then he says, because you don't know who you are. Yeah, TD, you didn't tell him.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And drawing more people than you can feed. That's why you're being peeled off to all these other religions. Because you don't know who you are.
Yeah. And why didn't you tell him, TD?
That's why people come in and tell you Christianity is the white man's religion, because you don't know who you are. If you knew who you were, they couldn't pass that off on you. Stand up, Dr. Harrison. He's just as much Gentile as I am.
Now hold up. I'm confused right now. I'm confused right now, brothers and sisters. I'm quite confused. I'm quite confused because TD just said that he was Igbo. But when he get in front of our people, he says this.
Stand up, Dr. Harrison. He's just as much Gentile as I am.
Now, this guy he's speaking about here is in the front row, and all the congregation know that this white man is Jewish. Okay? Here's the deception. Here's the buck dancing. Listen, Elder Lawya.
By the flesh, neither one of us are the seed of Abraham.
What? By the flesh, neither one of us are from the seed of Abraham. This bold-faced liar just admitted in private that he was from the Igbo, which were black Hebrews.
He's just a different flavor of the same mess. Christianity is not rooted in white men. Christianity is rooted in Judaism, and Judaism is rooted in Abraham.
He's a bold-faced lie. Christ wasn't a part or from any religion of Judaism. Judaism began after the split of Israel in 721 BC under the northern kingdom. Christ said, don't go into the way of Samaria. That's where Judaism began. Okay? When the Gentiles came into the land and was placed there instead of the children of Israel, that's when Judaism began, and it ramped up on the next level with our fall to Babylon. So it was a... Now check that out. Check that out. And our fall to Babylon. And that's when the old Baal worship, the Canaanite worship, was fused and turned into Judaism once our people fell in the 6th century. It had nothing to do with Christ. Christ says, it prophesied that Christ would be a root out of a dry ground. He wasn't born out of Judaism.
and Abraham was rooted in God. This is not about colors. This is not about colors.
Listen, now I'm even more confused. If it's not about colors, why in God's name, I would have said, the place below. Why did he stand up a white man? And then he claimed it is not about colors. I mean, when does the lie stop? So this is the best you can do? Lord, in the morning. Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
All right. What you think about T.D. Jakes there? There's more, but it's such a contradiction from when he's sitting down privately with his handlers. It's so hypocritical. I don't even know where to start here. Go on.
Well, if I may expound a little bit.
Expound, young man.
First and foremost, that's a very small clip. I didn't hear the whole sermon, but for that clip that we just heard, there's two things that stand out.
Yeah.
Number one, by performing that particular sermon before his congregation, his parishioners, he's doing them a great disservice. And the question is how? And the answer to that question is, number one, let's say hypothetically, that everything he's saying is true.
Yeah.
Which we know is not. The fact that he's not presenting any scriptures for his argument is doing his congregation a disservice. How? Well, this is being used or being built up as a response to the Israelite movement.
Yeah.
So naturally, if his congregation is hearing this as the response on how to deal with Israelites, they're going to run into Israelites and they're going to try to use the same exact argument. The issue is that they have no scriptures to defend the argument. And I don't think that all of the people in that congregation are as eloquent and as convincing as T.D. Jakes is when he speaks. So they're going to run into Israelites and they're going to deal with a lot of trouble because Israelites, the only thing they're going to do, again, regardless of doctrine, they're going to resort to precepts to deal with everything that T.D. Jakes has trained them to bring forward when dealing with the Israelite doctrine or the Israelite argument. That's the first thing that I noticed. The second thing is that this particular conversation and all the things that he's stating, he can never present an argument like this before the so-called Jews. He can never tell the so-called Jews that their system or whatever they set up is off of junk food churches or junk food babies, so on and so forth, and that it's not about color and all these other things. He cannot present that to the so-called Jewish people. Okay, they'll run this guy out of their synagogue senseless if he brings that madness. He can only bring this to our people who are uneducated. Now, there's one thing that he mentioned at the beginning, and correct me if I'm wrong. He mentioned something about junk food babies.
Yeah.
Setting up churches off of potato chips. Correct me if I'm wrong. When he said junk food babies, I'm assuming he's speaking of people who are uneducated, didn't go to theologian seminary colleges, so on and so forth. Is that what he means by junk food babies?
Yeah, he's belittling those that didn't go through the same, what you would call religious education as he and others.
Okay. Well, that statement, if that's the case, and that statement stands out because Christ said the following. Matthew 21, verse 16. And he said unto him, Hearest thou what these say? And Yeshua saith unto them, Yea, have ye never read? Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, thou hast perfected praise. Matthew 11 and 25. At that time Yeshua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, O Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent.
The theologian experts. Go on.
Absolutely. and has revealed them unto babes.
And Elder Lawya, what does that say about their spiritual education when some potato chip low level teacher can draw souls out of their conclave? From their conclave. Great points. Now, before we go any further, real quick, I have a few announcements to make, real quick, Elder Lawya. So hold your point, real quick, and we'll jump right back in. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's a few announcements I would need to make. First of all, I would like to thank you all, you brothers and sisters, for viewing us live on Blog Talk. You can see us here every Wednesday going forward, live on our main YouTube page, A Gathering 144. Okay. Elder Lawya, you'll make the announcements?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, make them, my brother.
All right. Let me pull up these announcements here. Brothers and sisters, first and foremost.
Give me about 2 minutes and I'll be right back. And guess what? We're doing overtime, so don't worry about it.
All right, brothers and sisters, of course, it's time for announcements, so let's get right into it. As you all may know, Elder Rawchaa returned a few days ago from Mississippi, visiting our dear brother Azariah, who is currently in the hospital. He has been a member of our church for many years, is the producer of our Blog Talk radio show, and is a loyal servant. He is currently fighting for his life, but is a strong servant and a soldier, and he wants to finish the work of the Most High. So we ask all of you to please keep our brother in your prayers, and all those brothers and sisters that might be dealing with serious illness or have lost a loved one recently. Second, we would like to make some announcements concerning the Hebrew and Bible Academy. We would like to invite all to enroll in the next Hebrew and Bible Academy that starts on Sunday, September 16th. We are happy to announce that we will be adding never-before-taught lessons on Daniel, the 9th chapter, the prophecy of the final 7 years, Apocalypse, the battle of Armageddon, and the 1,000-year reign. Also, we would like to offer participants that have been in 3 or more academies 1 month off for the month of September enrollment as our way of saying thank you. The discount will apply to the last month only, and participants must enroll by September 15th to receive the discount. To enroll, please go to historytimes.org or send us an email at gatheringas1@aol.com. Also, we would like to make some announcements concerning I Am Apparel, which, as we mentioned multiple times, is the official clothing store of the Gathering of Christ Church. For those who might not know, I Am Apparel store is a new clothing line created by Elder Gabar to meet our unique clothing style and is available to everyone. For years, we have had the vision to empower our people and nurture self-sufficiency as a body, a church, and a community. The I Am Apparel store is a continuation of that goal to facilitate self-reliance as a nation and creativity, design styles that are just for you. Join us in our endeavors to build and grow our nation. Please visit us at www.iamapparelstore.org today. Also, we would like to make mention concerning our GOCC calendars. Many of you may have some, many may not. Well, we're glad to mention that it's not too late. You can still order the GOCC 2018 Hebrew calendar and receive it within 5 business days. To order a copy for yourself or as a gift, please go to historytimes.org. Last but not least, we would like to make some announcements concerning donations. We do receive donations. If you would like to make a donation to help support the work and the elders' travels to different areas, please go to gatheringofchrist.org or send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com. We thank you for all your support. Last but not least, we would like to just make a mention of the GOCC network. For those who are interested in those businesses that are under the GOCC network, please make sure you go to gatheringofchrist.org. We have a section on our website that's dedicated solely to the GOCC network and the businesses that are under the network. So you can also check those out. Elder Rawchaa, I'm going to hand it back to you.
One moment, one moment.
Okay.
Okay, okay. All right. I'm back. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Like he mentioned, we have a new installment for the Hebrew and Bible Academy. And if you've been in our academy more than 3 times, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the last month is all free for the next time you are a part of this. So send in your email and get in before the deadline. gatheringas1@aol.com. And as you see, every Sunday morning we have our classes. And we have our Gathering of Christ Church mug so that, everybody drink hot tea or coffee or whatever. We have these made, which supports the work. And we also have the Royal Nation Hebrew and Bible, the Gathering of Christ Church Royal Nation calendar, which actually gives us the correct holy days according to the Most High, according to the heavens. Judaism is responsible for lying on the Most High days, and we're calling the Lord's Day a holy day on a profane day given to you by the Zionist controllers. Well, this calendar gives you the breakdown on how to calculate the holy days according to the Most High, and how the Sabbaths fall, and how the whole high holy days fall. And each month has inspiration. We have first fruits. We have tabernacles. Check this out for tabernacles. What month we have coming up here for September? Let me show you September. And our calendars actually starts in March. Okay, I mean April actually. So there's a lot of months you get which are left. Look at this. Be still and know that I am God. And you'll be able to use it for what? Taking your notes. And you can hang these up with a frame afterwards. Okay, in your bathroom or whatever the case might be. And we have the greatest holy days in our 7th month. Right there, that's coming. So if you want one of these, send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com. Now, let's put this to the side, and I was going to mention some high-level buck dancing from Zionists that was sent to mock Israelites. And I believe, Elder Lawya, this buck dancing have to be up there with Al Jolson in blackface. I mean, the Jewish Zionist controllers are shaking in their boots when they sent out one of their apologetics to mock Israelites. Check this out, brothers and sisters. When I seen this, it's not funny. It's more so, Elder Lawya, I kind of felt for this brother seeing this. In the middle, brothers and sisters, on my screen, there's a guy by the name, this guy who's been tagging along, following Israelites for about 3 years now by the name of Vocab Malone. He's a Jewish Jesuit usurper who tries his best to get in the way of the awakening of black people being the real Jews. But mind you, check him out dressing up in satire against the Israelites. He's a satanic a satanic usurper. Let's put it that way. But yet, they're claiming to be, brothers and sisters, standing for Christ. Now, would Christ do this? First of all, he's not really a Christian. He's a Jewish agent. And he's looking for relevance. He's one of these guys who failed trying to be 50 cents. Matter of fact, he's a 25 cents in front of us right here. I mean, not 50 cents. He failed trying to be, what's his name? Who the guy was 50 cent? Eminem. He was doing hip hop for a while, trying to get on like that because that's where they usually cloak themselves. But, you know, he didn't get a record deal. So the Zionists have him squirming around in the hood looking to antagonize Israelites. Check him out. A Zionist in the middle. Listen to him.
Now we would like to begin with our official beginning. General Judah with a Y. Can you please begin the proceedings here in Israel? Israel rise.
Look at the depths they have stooped to. This is, I mean, I'm embarrassed for the brother.
That's right. This brother is Louis Armstrong regenerated. Shalom slap. Shalom slap. Some camps do the shalom dap. We do the shalom slap. Isn't that right, Brother General?
That's right.
Do that again, General. Do that again, General. Do that again. Do that again. Do that again. Again. Why did you do that?
Because the truth hurts.
My ears. That's a sign.
You know what, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
They did it for a laugh. And you know what? I'm laughing. But not at what they would like us to laugh at. Not what they put this satire up for. I'm laughing at the depths they would actually grovel. The depths that they would fall to. Not being able to stop the Most High's awakening. Okay? That's what's really going on. Brothers and sisters, they are sending agents from every end. Okay? This guy was supposed to have been a hip-hop guy at first. Then he moved from hip-hop to just being a Christian apologist. He requested an interview with us just because he didn't really understand what was this Israelite movement all about. Then you seen him squirming amongst the apologetics with James White. Then we started to put it all together and realize James White was the theologian over Creflo Dollar and all these other guys who were sent to control the black churches. We have film, videos with James White in the back of Creflo Dollar. That's right, James White, the same one that was so-called debating myself. They sent him out. Serious fail. Because more Christians came to the Gathering of Christ Church after that than before. Thank you, James White. Because a lot of them didn't even know who Israelites were that frequented your internet circles. Thank you. On top of that, right? After that all fizzled out and he done crawled back under his Jesuit Catholicism rock. This guy now is linked up with anybody who's against Israelites, regardless of camp or church or whatever the case might be. Now that he failed on so many levels, he has resorted to dressing up and mocking. The laugh is on the so-called Jew. The greatest buck dancing since Al Jolson. Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
Let's get the telephone number. Have our brothers and sisters call in real quick. And for those on YouTube, I'm going to stay here a little longer for you. The first time us doing this. And guess what, Elder Lawya? Without any announcement at all, without any preparation for the YouTube Wednesday broadcast, over 1,000 people are present first time without advertising.
Amen. Praise the Father. Praise the Father.
Praise the Most High. We've been on Ustream so long, but we finally came to YouTube and just happened by mistake over 1,000 people. And I want to say this could not have happened without my dear brother, Anthony. And AC, I love you. Okay? I know we're struggling with this technical stuff. We're going to get it better. And as we grow in this, it's going to become exactly what the Most High, what we all see it can be. So, brother, I love you. I want to put that out there. This would not have been possible without AC, my brother from another mother. Thank you, brother. Israelites can no longer be ignored. The Christian gatekeepers are buck dancing and shaking in their boots. T.D. Jakes, along with Christian so-called apologists, who we all know are being controlled by Zionist money, is now making a last-ditch effort to hold on to what's left of their dwindling congregation. Why? Why are they losing? Why are they losing all of a sudden? Speaking of Christianity. Well, the main reason is because they're not teaching the truth. And that people are tired of hearing the same tired teachings within the Christian church, the deception, over and over again. But the main reason, okay, the straw that broke the camel's back, you got it, Israelites. That's the reason. Now, only the Israelites, regardless of what they're trying to say about us, and regardless of doctrine, only the Israelites gives a resolve to the long unanswered question. Who are the Israelites according to the Bible? The Muslims ignore this great point, yet they teach things from the Bible. The Jewish people ignore this question in Judaism. Christians ignore this question. But the Israelites are willing to tell the truth. That we have biblical proof that the poor people throughout the earth suffering the curses are the children of God according to the Bible. Now, instead of Christian pastors such as T.D. Jakes and others coming clean and finally admitting the truth, they're now being sent to actually speak to the congregations about Israelites in hopes of avoiding the constant hemorrhaging of their members. We've been warning pastors for years that if they continue upholding Satan's pagan ways, okay, and traditions, that the Most High God would smite the churches, causing brothers and sisters to leave in droves. Well, that time is here. Instead of focusing on the LGBT takeover of their churches, and yes, T.D. Jakes have an open gay son he makes excuses for. The greedy pastors who continually steal from its congregations, you would think that, hey, they would correct that before coming at us, right? Well, the Christian authority feel addressing Israelites are more important than them cleaning up their mess, their unlawful mess they call a church. So tonight we've been discussing the Christians' desperation. What are they doing in light of this prophetic Israelite awakening of the poor? Yes, there's a prophetic changing of hands. Rome is falling and the poor, Jacob, is rising. So now they're pulling out all the stops. They even buck dancing with apologetics. So the question is, what will they do next? Will they germinate some type of false flag and blame black people for it, like Nero did by burning 7 blocks in Rome, blaming it on black Jews? Will they begin to set the stage to actually engage Israelites physically? Usually they send their buck dancers first. But what do you think? Elder Lawya, let's give them the phone number so they can call in real quick. I know I have a few people online, waiting online. Give the phone number.
Yes, sir. The phone number is 515.
And you out on YouTube, you can tell you can tell me. You can chime in on this too. What do you think they'll do next? Speaking of the Christian Zionists and those that control the status quo in Christian churches. Yeah, what is their next move? Go ahead, Elder Lawya.
Okay, the phone number for the Blog Talk call-in is 515-605-9327.
515, come on.
605-9327.
Now, that's going to be the number you can call in, even if you're viewing through YouTube going forward, brothers and sisters. But if you're not on the line right now, you will not be able to call in. So don't call in if you're watching through YouTube, okay? All right, 757 area code. You're live on Blog Talk.
Shalom, Elder Rawchaa. Shalom, Elder Lawya. Bless you, brothers.
Shalom. We have Brother Aharon from Virginia. Talk to me.
Yes, sir, brother. I just feel like the next move, it's like twofold. You know, one is to make light of us and to make light of who the true people are.
Okay.
And then the second, and you know, they're gonna try to, like you just stated, Elder, plan an attack where they'll blame it on us to make us out to be some type of homeland terrorist or something. You know, so
I can see that. I can see that.
I feel like, yeah, I really feel like those are the two ways they're gonna attack it, you know. And I feel like James White and Vocab Malone, these are like paid agents that have been like handlers in our communities.
Yeah.
And what's going on is like they're like flabbergasted, if you will, about the fact that we've actually been smart enough, if you will, and intelligent enough to figure out exactly who we are on this earth. So
No, you can continue what I'm saying, what you're saying. I want to cut you off, but let's just coin them or put them in the category as the low-level leeches that's sent out initially. When you look at Vocab Malone and James White, they're more so like the pimple that popped up at the most inopportune time, you know. But that's all they are. Yeah. You understand? But they're like leeches, culture leeches. Why are they so enamored with Israelites? If the doctrine they claim it is off and will go nowhere, why not leave Israelites alone? You know why? Because they know they can't contend with the doctrine. And since you mentioned James White, I mentioned him earlier, you should have seen him grovel privately saying that he don't want to have a discussion on who the Israelites are because he never really went into that. You should have seen how he did everything to avoid that particular conversation and wanted to talk about some white guys who came later, who I could care less about. His theologian Jewish Jesuit masters, as if I was supposed to know about these devils that came in afterwards. But go on.
Right, yes, sir. And I just feel like, you know, it's interesting to hear you say how James White was actually a handler, because I felt like that in my spirit based off of me watching the discussion you all had. He was just so abrupt to cut off certain things you had answered clearly about the questions that he was given. But he would just continue to run around and confusion around in order to try to confuse the listeners. But like you said, Elder, all it did was help people come on to the truth. Because at the end of the day, you will make it clearly way more sense than this brother was. You know, so, you know, I just wanted to say that real quick, Elder, man. You know, it's just a big paycheck for these brothers, and they don't want to lose. As far as T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and all these brothers, they don't want to lose their money. You know, and their handlers are tossing them to and fro. They, you know, they don't know what to do. All they know is that I'm going to do what you tell me to do so I don't lose my bread. And that'll be that, and I can secure my family. So they just greedy, man. I appreciate you, brothers, so much, man. As I'm sure everyone else is listening does. Bless you, brothers. Thank you so much for the work, man. Shalom to next week.
Shalom. Thank you, brother. You always bring some poignant points. I really appreciate it. And yes, This is what T.D. Jakes and others don't understand. Okay, that their leaders, those that are over them, are loyal to nothing, to nobody. And eventually, according to America's legislation, which was the King Alfred's plan, now updated to Rex 84, the first thing they're going to do, the Zionists, when they institute martial law, the first thing they're going to do is behead or kill off the leaders of the people. So T.D. Jakes and others, whether it be Al Sharpton, they're going to be killed first by their handlers when it's time. When martial law, because they don't want any black person with influence that can turn on them one day. And if you have turned on your own people for the sake of the mighty dollar through the prosperity movement, what makes you think they're going to trust you? They know you'll do anything for money. So therefore, once King Alfred plan is fully instituted and martial law happens, they're going to get rid of the hog eaters over the churches first. Join a winning team, create a flow. And TD, join Christ. His name is Yeshua in the Hebrew. Who's next? Reggie from Alabama. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. How you doing?
Shalom. I'm doing fine. And you? I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia, my brother.
Shalom, shalom. That's awesome. One, I just want to say, been an awesome radio broadcast today.
All praises be to the Most High.
Very informative and everything.
Yes.
Awesome. I just had a quick thing. My mom, I grew up Baptist pretty much all my life, and my wife, we were dating at the time, but my wife introduced me to the truth. At first when we was dating, she showed me about the holidays and everything. I thought something was wrong with her. But then she showed me a video that she did on Christmas.
Okay.
And the type of person I am, once she showed me a little proof, I mean, that's all I need. And so with my mom, me and my wife, we had our first child and we got married, and we had our second child last year. So everything's been awesome. All praise to the Most High. I'm a police officer in the state where I live in.
Okay.
And I run across our people all the time, and in distress and committing crimes and killing each other. And last weekend, IUIC was in one of the projects, and it was an uproar in the projects. I was even called out to where I had to basically monitor the situation. And the crazy thing was, I was talking to some of the guys, because, you get to know your people in the community and everything like that. And so they were talking, they was like, Officer Runnels. I said, hey, what's up? They said, man, I understand these guys, they telling us who we are and everything, whatever, but, we went to have a dialogue with them, and they just told us to shut up and listen. And I was like, what? And so I'm kind of low-key at work.
Okay.
Every now and then I'll talk to somebody if the spirit moves me to be able to tell them, who they are and things of that nature.
Okay.
I try to show them a better way. But it really just threw me off on them being so aggressive and so controversial in the neighborhoods. And it turned so many people off. So I just want to know, with those people hearing that, and they've been turned off and going back to their Christianity or going back to the Sunday worship, things of that nature, will the Most High also allow them a way to actually come to the actual truth and to accept it?
Okay. All right. Brother, I mean, believe it or not, you have enough content in this one conversation for a show on its own, to tell you the truth. You from Alabama, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're the perfect example of what the Lord is doing as far as the awakening, part, as far as coming from the Christian church, not immediately accepting who you were, but having your mother introduce it, you being a man of truth, read the Bible and seen you couldn't refute what was being shown to you concerning what's wrong in the churches, right?
Oh yeah, it was my wife.
I'm sorry. It was your wife. I'm sorry. Great. Your wife introduced it to you, and like, listen, I'm a man of God, and if the Bible says it, I'm with it. So that says a lot about you, brother. So thank you for having your ears open and responding to the word. That's to be commended. Now, the second piece here, brother, is the fact that you've seen how you receive it, opposed to an uproar in which you're called into the black neighborhood concerning a uprising or some type of commotion, and through that it's because of Israelites from another group, I think you said IUIC, who's telling people to shut up, and therefore by their reaction turning brothers and sisters off who would listen to them otherwise, right?
That's right. Con.
And so if you were to hear it like that, then you probably wouldn't be on this call right now knowing that you are an Israelite, correct?
That's right. You're totally right.
Listen,
right.
But this is what I want to say based on that. The provocative way of being an Israelite have come and gone. And the brother mentioned about that means dealing with provocation or doing anything to be seen, making proselytes and getting out front because you want to be seen in any civil unrest or whatever, just to show that you have a place politically amongst the people. That's a great mistake, because what the brother said beforehand is what they're going to do. They're going to use the provocation point that everyone disagree with to do false flags and demonize the awakening. And that's why I tell brothers, listen, if they want to march and do all that stuff, let them do that. Because these are the Israelites that will be used for their own demise. Christ says he sent us out as sheep among wolves, that we must be wise as servants, harmless as doves. The question is, would Christ be marching right now? Would Christ be talking about what's going on with white cops and black people and what's going on? That's a low level. You want to fix the cop, the cop criminal problem, the black-white problem? Give our people the law and let's fix ourselves first, and then we'll see fit. Then there'll be no use for the white cop. See, it's all about attention for a lot. I'm saying it's all about attention for a lot of these guys, man. They just, and I understand when you first become an Israelite, that first stimuli that happens where you have to show everybody you think you know something. But guess what? We were there 2 decades ago. That page have turned already. Okay? So these guys out there screaming and all that, they don't know what time we're in. They don't realize that them operating with the Bible without wisdom is going to lead to their own demise. And it's not going to be because they were teaching the truth and they were standing for the Most High. It's because they weren't applying Christ. Brother, a great point. I'm going to put you on hold, man. I'll take your number because why? We're coming to Alabama. I was just in Mississippi, and I'm coming to Alabama. We're setting up a church there soon. So, brother, and here it is. You law enforcement and will be amongst the truth. See what I'm saying? Brother, listen.
It has changed my whole. It's changed my whole perspective of policing. I mean, when I first started before the truth, I mean, I was just running and gunning and just, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as a police officer, part of your job is taking people to jail, and it's like now, I'm looking at it, man. They're trying to use us to basically clean up their mess that they started. So now, I just go out there, I treat people right, do the right thing, and when the Spirit leads me, I just tell people who they are and direct them to the right path, even if I have to take you to jail. Because at the end of the day...
Listen, hold up. Lawyer, listen to this, man. Listen to this. We have someone who works in law enforcement that used to just run wild west on our people, saying that when he heard this truth and was converted into the truth, that now he uses position to help our people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. In fact,
You know,
I had the opportunity, I had the pleasure of meeting Brother Reginald in
oh,
Atlanta a while back.
man, Reg, man, I can't wait to meet you myself, brother. I'm going to be there soon, man. But you had a point. You can finish your point.
Well, just last thing I just want to say is that I really appreciate you all, and I know my wife, she's upstairs playing the piano right now, but I know she's gonna listen to this later, and I really do appreciate her because the Most High led her in my life to down for the tear, to introduce me to the truth, and without the Most High putting in my life, there's no telling where I'd be at. Probably still be doing the same thing. So, shalom,
Amen.
I appreciate you.
Man, bless you, brother, and it's a blessing. Guess what? The Most High is working with these sisters. Who say a sister can't teach? When she can't be in a position of authority over a church, but how many brothers like yourself have come through with your woman pointing things in the right direction? Blessing, brother. Thank you.
Shalom. See you later.
Shalom. Okay, we have 501 area code. We're going to go down the line. And, of course, with this new platform, I love the way it's set up, Elder Lawya. Wait till you see how it's set up in here. I can see everything in front of me. I see my brothers and sisters chatting in front of me on YouTube. We on another screen, I have Ustream Wirecast where I can pull up and show my videos. On my screen to the left, I have Blog Talk in front of me. Man, brother, this is a heaven sent setup. This is the setup I've been waiting for a long time. So now I feel a little sorry because it came through frustration getting here. But hey, man, it's a nice setup today, and we're gonna be live on YouTube every week, just like this. Okay, just like this. And thank you for. And I want you all to call in and all that. If you're on YouTube, call in. Our shows, we're going to expand this beyond thousands through our YouTube platform. So we thank you. You are our extended family there on YouTube. All right. Now, 501 area code is the next. And then we have 347 area code. I'm in overtime, so let's go. 501 area code.
Just like this, and thank you for, and I want you all.
Feedback alert.
Call in.
Feedback alert. Make sure when I call that number, you put it on your head, put it in your headphones, or turn your microphone, or turn your speakers off. Okay? I'm going to come back to you, 501. We have Yashar from Baby Babylon, New York City.
Shalom, Elder. How you doing?
Shalom, Yashar. I'm blessed by the best. His name is Ahia. Talk to me, young man.
I love when you say that. Shalom, Elder Lawya, too.
Shalom, brother.
Okay, when you talk about Shalom, when you talk about like what can we think the Christian church might do, what can these Jesuits pull out now, I don't even see it being far-fetched if like the Khazars try to push some false flag of them going on shit. And I say that because every Israelite under earth has read and seen Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And that's the one scripture that cuts bone and marrow. Because right then and there, when you put the question, did your forefathers go on slave ships? They can't do it. When you did the lesson on the tribe of Gad, you brought out that the Gadites went on slave ships. It was just about a small portion. When you look at the Taino Indians in the 1400s, Christopher Columbus put the Tainos on ships. And everybody under the sun has seen the slavery that happened in America in the Middle Passage. So it wouldn't even be far-fetched to me to see that they're trying to put some farce out there of Jewish people going on slavery and slave ships, and they're like, look, we fulfilled Deuteronomy 28, and we'll just be like, come on, get out of here. The other thing I think that it might be pulled out. You see it though, Elder. I know you can see it happening. But another thing that I think it's gonna come a time where they're just gonna start lying on the word, because when you talk about the 2 days and he'll revive and bones started prophesying to the bones, prophesying to the wind. You cannot stop what's going down. And I'll never forget, even though once, like it was last year, and I'm like, I don't know if you know about my college. I'm upstate New York. I live in New York City, but I go to college away. And I'm there now. And last year, I had the brothers, we doing a street preach. But around the corner was a different Israelite group street preaching. And I said to myself, are we really in this time right now? That one Israelite is street preaching, and around the corner, another Israelite is street preaching? So I was like, man, all praise to the Most High. Even though we have our differences, at least Israelites are trying to do what we think is the right thing to do. And the last thing I wanted to address, Elder Rawchaa, I want to send you a video through Ustream that I would love if you played. And it's a video of Creflo Dollar saying that Satan is trying to get you to follow the law. And it's 1 minute. You think you can do that, Elder?
Satan is trying to get you to follow the law. You should be a tranny. You should be a child molester. You should be a killer. You should be an adulterer. You should be a sinner. You should be a Sunday holy roller. God don't want you following the law. God wants you stealing. God wants you killing. God wants... Shut up. Okay, then he show his gold teeth. But go on. His gold tooth. Let's go.
So, I want to put that in the YouTube chat right now. So if you have the time, I know you're doing overtime. If you have the time, you could play that. And it's sad because which apostle you think he went to prove his point that does not exist? Paul. And even the scriptures talk about that people's going to wrestle with Paul's writing to their destruction.
Yeah.
There's no way to more. And it's funny because when I'm out there street preaching with the brothers, I say to people, tell me who's the author of the line. You don't got to follow the law. The author of that line was the adversary in the garden.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Hey, brother. Oh, we got other calls, but hey, brother. You know what just came to mind when you... You know what just came to mind when you said that God don't want us following no law?
What?
Guess what just came to my mind, my brother?
What came to mind? What came to mind, Elder?
What came to my mind is Vampire in Brooklyn. Evil is good. That's what I think. Evil is good. Remember that? You know what? He was making mockery of the... Hey, brother, he was making mockery of the Christian pastors, but I don't realize how brilliant his assessment and view was now that I look back at it. They're teaching in the Christian church that if you follow the law in the most criminal element within our society, that it's sin according to God. Check that out, brothers and sisters. Thank you, brother. I'm going to put you on hold.
Elder, I'm going to just put it in the YouTube chat. Thank you.
Put it in the YouTube chat, and I'll make sure I play it next week. You, my brother. I love when my brother Yashar come on. Oh, yeah. This guy Creflo came out. I think I heard that before, Elder Lawya, and came out and say, God don't want you following no law. What?
Yeah, I think I saw that also.
You seen it, right?
Yes, sir.
So God wants you stealing, killing, adultery. He wants you cross-dressing. Okay. He wants you pedophiling. Hey! Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, when it all go down, those pastors are going to be the first dealt with by their controllers. I'm like, hold up, I've been doing the jig for you for 20 years. Let's keep on going here. We only got to have a few more before this broadcast concludes. All together, we have 816 area code. Shalom. Shalom. How you doing, brother Brazil?
Hey, Shalom. Doing here in KC, Elder.
Kansas City, how are you?
All praises be to the Most High.
Talk to me.
Doing well. Blessed by the best, and name is Ahia.
Come on, you know it.
Quickly, I had a quick comment and a question. Yesterday, I ran across a Baptist guy who was out in a strip mall parking lot asking passerbys, was Christ their Savior and everything. And I got into a little dialogue with him real quick. And
Okay.
and I saw he had a little clipboard. I thought he was probably trying to get people to vote and register and stuff like that. But he had a little booklet, and it was a Bible, but it was only the New Testament. So I said, okay, I ended up dialogue with him and things. And so he was saying how, Christ is the Savior. He died for our cross, on the cross and everything. And I was cool. I was just understanding. I was asking him what was his denomination. He said he was closely affiliated to Baptist. I said, okay. And so we just went through some things and just showing him and sharing with him who the people and what did they expect that was done away. He believed that the laws weren't done away. And so that was a good thing. But it's kind of funny how you would deal with folks in those churches that many say that the Jews have been done away with when we claim them, when we claim to be the Jews, but then recognize Jewish people who exist today and properly financially support them, plus all of a sudden they do exist. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of contradictory. First they say they're done away with, then how they come across as though they do exist, but they're not us. So in a doctrinal point, going forward, I'd like to hear from you, Elder Rawchaa, as well as Elder Lawya, just trying to understand as far as someone being driven or drawn towards the Most High, how to understand the Most High giving us, when he was giving us, like in the book of John, chapter 6, verse 37, to Yeshaya, and in John 6 and 44, how we're drawn by the Most High to Christ, and no man can come to Yeshaya except the Most High draw him, and then yet Yeshaya is the way, the truth, and the life, and no man can come to the Father but by him, in connection with man utilizing his free will to come, is my question.
Okay, now give me when it says no man cometh to the Most High unless he be drawn. You understand? One moment here.
That would be John 6 and 44.
Okay, but what you don't understand in that? No man can come unless he's drawn.
Right. I was wondering how did that draw, and then no man can come to Christ unless the Most High draw him. But then the other verse is, no man coming to the Father but by Christ. So I was wondering which one does the drawing initially from one to the other, and then on top of that, just trying to understand if they're being drawn some type of way, where does a man's free will come in to choose the Most High instead of being drawn or given to him by Christ?
Well, I think it's two separate points,
I'm
right?
just trying to clear it up for myself. That's all.
Okay, I understand. There's two separate points that are being crossed here, right?
Okay.
No one cometh to the Father unless he be drawn. That's clear in itself. Which means if the Most High sent out teachers or whatever the case is, whatever, he sent the disciples out to be fishers of men. A man couldn't just organically come to that understanding without a teacher. Without the Most High showing some type of sign that would lead that person to the Most High. Now here's the point in between those two you're speaking about. The Most High tells us that time and chance happen to all men. So you mentioned earlier how, a brother mentioned earlier how he went around the corner. I don't know if it was you, a brother was mentioning that they were teaching on one corner and went around the other corner. The brother just before you, and they was teaching there, right? They was teaching in one corner and he seen Israelites teaching on another corner, right? And then maybe when they went on YouTube, they seen the brothers teaching on YouTube, right? Well, even though the Most High had fishers of men, time and chance happened to all the people who heard and seen the same thing. Just that some hear the calling and follow. You understand? Others know the truth but deny it. Because they have weighed in their heart exactly what they would have to sacrifice if what they're hearing is true. What they're hearing is correct. Then they're now as a child of God, you become accountable. You understand? So that's when free will kicks in. Free will kicks in at that point. Now that you have heard it just like everyone else, you've resolved that it could be truth, but still there's a few things in your heart you would like to continue in the flesh. So then you ignore the truth or act as if you've never received it. That's the go-between. That's when free will kicks in, when you have had the opportunity like everyone else, but chose darkness. But you choose darkness. That's when free will comes in, because, brother, everyone had the same opportunity. It's not too many Christians that you run into or anybody else who haven't seen Israelites teach. Right? Did I answer that for you, or what you don't understand?
Oh, it was crystal clear. I appreciate it. It just giving me the nugget of that space of time with the go-between, where it puts it back into our hands. Now, could you clear up a little bit as far as expound on the version of Christ being the way that no man cometh to the Father but by me?
See.
I mean, nobody. Yeah. Christ's role in it. I should say.
I'm saying when it says no man cometh to the Father but by me. Here's an example. Okay, hold that. Elder Lawya, get John 10:1 real quick.
Like a thief in the rock. That's right.
St. John chapter.
When he says I'm the way, this is what he's saying. Read.
St. John chapter 10 verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
Like the example I can give you from a world perspective, brother, is that Oprah Winfrey on one of her shows says, Christ couldn't possibly be the only way. That means when it comes to paradise and a kingdom to come, she's claiming that there's other ways of receiving that same promise of Abraham without the porter of the door. That's a thief. This person is going to come a certain type of way without any level of accountability to Christ to steal what was given only to those who would follow him. Like Muslims, who minimizes Christ's position and claim that after this they'll see paradise if they walk in this new way of life and accept Muhammad as the prophet, when Muhammad is not at the door. He's not the way, the truth, or life. They're trying to steal their way into the kingdom and convince brothers and sisters that there's any other way outside of what the Bible stated. Now, on a doctrinal level, you have Christians who claim if I'm a good person, regardless of my faults, if I confess Christ with my mouth, that I'm going into the kingdom of heaven. When there's a clear path given according to the Bible by Christ himself and made it clear who wouldn't get in and who would get in. See that? So they'll say, it doesn't matter, I'm a good person. Good according to what? You're breaking God's law on purpose. So you have a pastor that teaches it doesn't matter about your sin. If you confess Christ, Christ's blood cover you. Well, that means you skip a key part that leads you to that door, which is repenting. Looking at what you're doing wrong, how you upbraiding the law that was given to Moses, and changing. You can't get to the door living the life you did before hearing Christ. You must now put down your former self and be born again. And if you try to get in any other way, thinking the Lord is going to accept you into the kingdom as you are, then you're foregoing one important stage, which is repentance. You are a thief and a robber, and you're teaching other people they can steal their way into a kingdom that one can only receive through obedience. That's an example. doctrinal wise, if Christ gave the disciples through Peter the tenets and principles written of in Hebrews on how one can receive the kingdom, even Israelites who know they're Israelites today can't come up with other ways stating how we as a people can go into the kingdom of heaven without the principles that was laid out by the disciples. So you being an Israelite doesn't give you access through the door. You must now come in the way Christ stated one must come in, even if you are an Israelite, or you are a thief and a robber. You got it?
I surely do. I appreciate it. That's just what I needed, those nuggets. I appreciate you, Bruce. And we're here in KC under the tutelage of Elder Rawchaa, who helped you sing to Zion, and we love you, bros. Can't wait to see you.
Hey, brother, I'm working. Thank you, brother. I'm working a few things out. I have to make some emergency stops. I'm on a meeting with California tonight. But guess what, brother? Don't worry about it. Man, I can't wait to see you in Kansas City. We have plans, and don't get discouraged, brother. You'll soon see us there with you. All right? All right. Thank you, brother. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. Shalom. Again, I wanted to mention that our Hebrew and Bible Academy is coming up in a few weeks. Okay, you don't want to miss it. It's only $50 per month. It doesn't matter where you are in America or in the world. We'll send you your pamphlets. We'll send you your PDFs. We'll send you the links. We have an administration working around the clock for this next Hebrew and Bible Academy, and we have 4 new lessons involved, including the 1,000-year reign. What will happen once Christ returns? And what will happen within that 1,000 years before Satan is judged at the end of it? That's going to be a lesson. The apocalypse. The wars that lead to the apocalypse will be taught. We have 4 new lessons. You don't want to miss it. This Hebrew and Bible Academy will be like no other. Every Sunday we have Elder Lawya dealing with the Hebrew. Shapat and I come in with the real-time news, breaking down news, giving you the biblical perspectives and our own commentary. After that, you got it. Your lesson. You look into your email, pull up your PDF, and join the Gathering of Christ Church on a different level of scholarship with this Bible. Send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com, or you can enroll at your own convenience. You got it. Enroll on historytimes.org, or you can go to gatheringofchrist.org. But believe me, you want to be in this academy, because with that, when the Lord show us, when Ahia show us something prophetic, and we are one day, and after one day from the Sabbath, we don't have all week to bring forth that information. So if the Lord give us something after the Sabbath, you get it the next day, Sunday, before the world receives it. So make sure you become a participant in this Hebrew and Bible Academy. You don't want to miss it. All right. Let's go down the line. A few more. Elder Lawya, anything before I go down the line here?
Yes, I wanted to mention something real quickly. I know earlier you mentioned Oprah Winfrey by name.
Yeah.
In relation to her beliefs and the different paths. Of course, we know Oprah Winfrey has come out on our show multiple times proclaiming to be a new age, which really, is a Luciferian. But she has a show out. I'm not sure if you've seen the show, if anyone else has seen the show she has out on her network, the old WN network, called Greenleaf.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'm not going to give any spoilers. Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't seen it, but go on.
Yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm going to read the description of the show here. And as we're making mention of the Christian church, the state of the church, them losing followers to the Israelite movement. And for a long time, they've been losing followers to the conduct that takes place in the Christian church, mainly because, as we have, facetiously made, acknowledged earlier, the fact that they decide that it's beneficial for them not to follow God's laws. Well, this show really magnifies what the church has become on every single level because they've decided to do away with God's laws. It says here, Greenleaf is an American, it's from Wikipedia. is an American television drama created by Craig Wright and executive produced by Oprah Winfrey in Lionsgate Television. Clement Virgo also serves as an executive producer and director. I'm going to jump down here. Greenleaf follows the unscrupulous world of the Greenleaf family with scandalous secrets and lies in their sprawling Memphis megachurch with predominantly African American members. Now, again, this show, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you want to know everything that is taking place in the church because they have done away with God's laws, they cover it to a T. And of course, we know that Oprah, she's invested in this because, again, she's a new age witch. She wants an image out there driving people away from some level of belief in Christ. But nonetheless, when you get the opportunity, check out this show. Many of you, this would be like pretty much a biopic almost for you because you've lived some of these things. And for others, it'd be enlightening as to the, the decrepit state of the Christian church.
Exactly. And no one contributed more to the erosion of what was left when it comes to morality in the Christian church than Oprah Winfrey herself. Okay, because she passed herself off as a Christian, and somehow a Satanist, someone who denied Christ publicly, is accepted as a celebrity amongst Christian circles. Now, what's wrong with this? On top of that, look at the respected characters here. T.D. Jakes, son is an open homosexual. He's given a sermon how God is okay with that. Creative flow of dollars. I mean, where do we begin? Where do you begin there? His name is not Creflo. Let's start there. Next, but he made his name into creative flow of dollars. Then you have Tyler Perry, who's known and respected. His money started with black theater, dealing with societal issues, mainly from a black Christian perspective. And he was the segue to blacks accepting men in drag. Yes, Medina is not actually a woman. Okay? So you have to check out the calculated, diabolical plans that they've used to erode any morality that was left amongst the black church. It begs us to question whether or not there was any morality there at any time. Right? Man. And now they want to come out and try to protect people from learning the truth of themselves. They want to protect the people from Israelites to do what? To allow us to continue wallowing in the unclean swine doctrine that's given through theologian today. The madness that's going on and continually allow the activity that's continually tolerated amongst the church. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Like I've mentioned a long time ago, we lost the church decades ago. Any similitude of righteousness was gone when they replaced the King James Version Bible with the NIV. That was the beginning. And then subsequent to that, they began to let the nihilists and the atheists gain control in a corporate structured church, coined the mega church. That they started to do what? Yes, they began to draw all the little churches out. All the mom and papa churches that really cared about the community were phased out. Just like mom and papa stores used to be in our neighborhoods are now phased out by Walmart. It was the same agenda. And now they want to try to now come at Israelites. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you this right now. Look for a serious false flag. Because I'm looking at this Jewish guy dressing black people up as Israelites, mocking. It's nothing for them to do the same thing and do a false flag and have them shoot up something or do something and claim Israelites did it. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay? And this is a respectful warning to the brothers and sisters, the brothers who are on those streets. They better walk wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay? You better hear the words of Christ in this time. Okay? Because they will look for them to do something and blame you for it. It's coming. All right? It's coming. Right? A few more calls. We have about 2 more calls. One moment. 936-404, then 575. 936 area code. You're live on our first YouTube broadcast. Shalom.
Shalom, elders, Elder Lawya, Elder Rawchaa.
Shalom, my brother.
Brother Parah from this is Brother Parah from the Houston Bryan body.
Hey.
Man, I was listening in. I'm here at work. And man, I was listening in, and man, this is a powerful lesson, and it's timely like always. But just diving right on into it, all praises to the Most High. What are the signs that we're going to receive going forward from these Creflo dollars, from these James White, from all these Jesuits in the modern day era? Number one, delivering up the righteous, like everybody come on so far, it pretty much said in a nutshell. That what we're going to receive next is those that are righteous and that are doing righteous, that are living righteous, like you just said, Elder, we got to become wise as serpents, harmless as doves, because they're going to start delivering us up. Actually, they already have, according to their view on our doctrine or the view on the truth in this hour. Mm-hmm. And just to pick on some of the things that were said, like the James T.D. Jakes, I don't know if you've heard this one. He said to his congregation that our churches are pretty much taken over. He said, man, we're bringing in more. These churches, he called us, actually, he said we're potato chip churches that don't have any foundation or ain't been around long, is what he said, right? And he's saying that he stated that we're bringing in more people than we can feed, and that goes to show you that they're fearful. They're looking up and all, like Elder Lawya just mentioned, the people are starting to see these things, and our people are waking up. We're getting this truth. We're hearing the truth going to the corners, hearing the truth on every different type of setting that gathering of Christ Church. And like the brother said earlier, other nations or other Israelites that are waking up, our people are hearing the truth, and we're coming away from this garbage that's been taught. Mm-hmm. Also stated that by T.D. Jakes, he said, man, that we are receiving. He was speaking to his congregation, right? He says, and we all are getting the blessings of Abraham. This is what he was telling his people. But it was so funny because he said, he was talking to heathens in his congregation, etc. He was like, hey, we all receiving the blessings of Abraham, but he never mentioned Isaac or Jacob, right? But then he made a very powerful statement that I don't even understand if he realized how powerful, why he looking up and some of his congregation is leaving. He said, you don't know who you are, which is absolutely right. These people don't understand, like James White. The James White debate. He's trying to make it look like, what you bringing forth or what the Most High is bringing forth through the vessel of you. Right? He's trying to prove it wrong, and all the while, all it did is make our people realize that, man, this guy here is wrong, and he's been teaching our people wrong. And James White subsequently caused our people to come closer to the Most High. Same thing with T.D. Jakes is doing. So we're in the hour of the Most High opening up. He's taking a veil off our people's faces, man. He said, my people, those that have eyes will be able to see in this hour, and those that have ears will be able to hear in this hour, And I just thought that was just, when I logged in and I was listening, I'm here at work getting it in, and I heard it, and that's the first thing that came to me. I said, oh, praise the Most High. The Most High don't make no mistakes. That's how you know this Holy Spirit is operating with our people, because she's dealing with us one to another on the same page, man. I'll praise the Most High. I don't want to take up too much time. I know you only had like 2 minutes, but I just wanted to say that, man, man, according to the Most High, man, this is the time of the awakening. According to the Bible, this is our people standing up, and we starting, because these pastors like T.D. Jakes and all these other Creflo dollars, according to the Bible, see, they got their own judgment coming, right? But here's the issue. I'm sorry, I'm standing outside, so I know it's a lot of noise. But here's the issue with these Creflo dollars and these Jakes, all right? According to the scriptures, You pastors that are leading your congregation away from the Most High, you're going to lead them into ditches. And so that congregation, our people need to wake up and realize where you sitting at on Sunday nights, where you sitting at. You need to get up and come to this truth, because you're going to be led to those ditches. But these pastors, according to the scripture, and when it's all said and done, they're going into the same pit Satan and the fallen are going. So they have a special damnation unto them. But our people that have eyes that can see, man, it's already happening. You can't do nothing. They can't. That's why all they can do now is, mark our mailboxes and say, oh, this person here, yeah, he's not a good old American boy. He ain't a good boy. So he's gonna be the first one we take out. They're gonna deliver us up, and that's what we're seeing today. But all praise to the Most High, by Hashem Yeshaya, Ahaya Ashar Ahaya, man. I just want to thank you, brothers, for doing the work. And man, hey, the Houston body and the Bryan body, hey, we're going strong over here in Texas, man. And I know the brothers in Dallas, hey, we're going hard on the Most High, man. And hey, there's work to do, and we hitting these streets, and we waking up our people as we speak, man. All praise to the Most High, man. The work that the Gathering of Christ Church is doing, man. Hey, all praise to the Most High, man. Our people are coming to the Most High. But that's all I wanted to say, elders.
Thank you, brother.
Barakatah, and man, Shalom.
Thank you, brother, and I'll see you soon. Bless you. All right, next call, 404 area code. Shalom, you're live on Blog Talk.
Shalom, Elder. Good to hear from you.
How are you? This is Chris from Florida. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to say all praise to the Most High, man, for all the work. So we're here now. As far as what I have to say, I just want to kind of be short on it, but I just want to say, like, since the time of the 60s, this has been like the first time like our people have had like a central culture or something that they can resolve around to and kind of, rally together under. And I feel that a lot of our brothers, when they receive this truth, they won't receive it in that spirit of meekness, but instead, they'll kind of fall into that realm of going out there in the streets, kind of take it to the streets. And then, like, I feel like the same way they used it in the civil rights area to push, certain laws and things of that nature, I feel that, once our brothers hear this truth and they take to it, that unfortunately I feel like they'll probably use that as a way to kind of enforce new laws and things of that nature, the same way they did during the 60s time.
Yeah, it very well could be, but I'll tell you this. Let me tell you, I believe that marching thing has ran its course also. It doesn't have the same vibrato or power as it did in the 60s. I think the last real meaningful march that to date would be the Million Man March. And when nothing came of that and our neighborhoods became worse, marches does absolutely anything. So what I'm saying now is I'm telling brothers and sisters, it's more so been marches have been taken over by the Zionists who've been controlling them from the beginning. When it comes to all these different Black Lives Matter and all these are Soros-controlled, provocateur gatherings so that they can germinate unrest amongst the civilians. And look, they're scheming to destroy either side of the march. Those that are on one side of the issue or the other, the powers that be are looking to kill both of them, but they need a provocateur scenario, and that's where marches began at. That's their relevance. It allows the media now to come with their cameras and spin it and magnify it to a degree that action must be taken through legislation. And that's what these things are all about. So I warn my brothers and sisters, say, listen, you think Christ and the disciples would be marching? How can you march against Rome? It was prophesied how long Rome would rule. And You will never be equal. What type of crap is that? This is their time. The kingdom will be our time. Okay, so the reality of the matter is we must come to the Most High, walk in meekness, okay, be wise as serpent, harmless as doves, warn everyone we know against the perils to come, and not stand in their provocateur gatherings, because they need the numbers as a reason to call out the jackboots against us. And they're not going to be stomping out. They're not going to be stomping out white people in the suburbs. They're using this as a pretext to engage our people where we live, where we reside. So any Israelite out there marching, it's for them to get attention. Because there's no place in the Bible you will see Isaiah, Jeremiah, Christ, or the disciples marching on Rome. And guess what? What they're going to get is their brothers and sisters harmed, or even worse, killed out there. Okay? We're in Esau's world right now. Satan is the god of the Edomites, the Canaanite god. Okay? Our world is the world to come. We are not to engage or be a part of their provocateur marching. You can do it if you would like, and suffer the consequences. You've been warned. Thank you, brother.
Come on.
Brother Chris from Florida. I'm going to see you soon. We're coming there soon. Last call. I think I have a few more. No. Last call. Sabi from New Mexico. You don't get your people stomped out.
Shalom.
Come on, talk to me.
Brother Sabi. This is Brother Sabi Salas from New Mexico.
Hey, Sabi, how are you?
I'm
doing well. Blessed by the best. Talk to me.
Hope to see you next year at Passover. But I just wanted to mention at the turn when they had the Azusa Street revival, then you ended up having some pastors get their license from the black ministers, and they decided to split up into whites, Mexicans, and blacks, and the Mexican side of it, they created a constitution with all kinds of points of doctrine. And one of the elderly bishops from back then just recently came up and he quoted 200 doctrine points in the assembly that have no biblical reference. And he gave that in one of his preachings. And I thought that was sort of awesome that they realized that there's a lot of laws they made that aren't laws that the Most High gave. But, in their sincerity, their desire to please God, they thought they could make their own laws. And most of these laws, they don't have truth. And they also teach two controversies. They send the church across the street to hell, and on the other hand, they give the Jews a free ticket, the so-called Jews a free ticket to heaven. Those Jews, those European Jews, they not only don't believe on Christ, but they give false witness to our Savior Christ. And I just wanted to mention that. Shalom, brothers.
Well, thank you, brother. I'm sorry about that. We just cut off on YouTube. It really concluded our broadcast for this evening. But brothers and sisters, this was our test run. You will see us deal with this going forward. Okay, YouTube has resumed, so that's good. Yeah, it was cut off. It resumed. Okay, thank you. All right, we only got a few more. We only have a few more. Thank you, brother, from New Mexico. Thank you. We only got a few more minutes before this particular broadcast conclude. Yes, of course, it's our test run. We thank you, brothers and sisters, for your participation this evening with the Gathering of Christ Church. This actually concludes our broadcast, okay? They're shaking in their boots, and of course, brothers and sisters, you all know out there, that the Israelites can no longer be ignored. Okay? But with it, it is a blessing, but with it comes a curse. Now that the attention is out there concerning God's people, now we must keep our eyes, now your eyes must stay peeled wide open to how media is going to use Israelites that they can deem radical as a means of provocatoring and engaging Israelite churches. So just be very careful. Hey, stay prayed up, sin not, walk in the Spirit of Christ. Okay? And above all, you know it, follow the Most High God's higher law, statutes, and commandments. With that, I'm going to say shalom. This concludes our first installment through YouTube. It was a beta test run. Next week, we will be live beginning 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, without the hiccups that, we all had to overcome today with this broadcast. I love you. I'm Elder Rawchaa, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. To everyone, of course, shalom. And I want to mention, if I can just give the last word concerning tonight's broadcast. It just gives context to what we must do in these last days. Our people are filtering out of the churches. Of course, we have a responsibility to make sure that we work and we labor so that they have a sanctuary or a place to reside to or resort to when everything falls down as it pertains to the churches. So, brothers and sisters, it's time to work. It's time to build that strong foundation to welcome your brothers and sisters who will soon be coming and serving along with you from a lot of these mega churches. And with that, I say shalom.
And shalom. Yes, they're coming out of the churches, and you know what? We're welcoming all. They're welcomed amongst the gathering. That concludes our discussion for this evening. Stay prayed up, brothers and sisters. Sin not, keep the laws of God, and know that the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshua, loves you. Shalom.